I think that starts with recognizing that oil and gas has a huge part to play. I don't think the energy transition is possible without it. I'm excited about renewables. I'm excited about the things that we want to do, from reducing carbon. And those are really key things for us and for the generation of talent that we want to bring in to our business.
Hi, and we're here today with Phil Brading, Chief Operating Officer of Sword. They offer digital and data skills and services to the energy industry and have a great deal of insight, which I hope you're going to be able to talk to us today, Phil. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
Very good. You're here in Aberdeen at the studio, and you are talking about challenges that you're seeing happen in the energy industry. From your point of view, what do you think we're doing in the energy industry, how we're doing?
Okay, well, thank you very much. Great to be in the studio today.
Welcome.
First time visit. First off, perhaps just a little introduction about who Sword are. So Sword, broadly speaking, we're an IT services company. We make technology work for our customers. And that means deploying, it means managing the transition, and it means operating technology on behalf of our customers. We work in a number of different sectors, but energy for us is a very large focus. It's been our heritage for many years. We've got long-standing relationships with customers, some that go back 30, 40 years. So we want to bring domain skills and that technical skills and combine those to serve the operational needs of our customers. There are a number of challenges in the energy industry today. Cost is number one. We're working in an environment that government policy is perhaps against us from an oil and gas perspective, but we also work in renewables, so we can see how some of those skills do translate, perhaps not at the same volume, but we certainly want to invest in that skills transition. For us, we're a people business, we're a services business. We have very little product that is our own to sell. Yes, we have software developers as one of our skill sets within the business, but we have very little product. So we are here to make things work. And that requires people with those right skills. So finding skills is part of the challenge. We invest a lot of time and effort in bringing graduates or other people into our industry, into our business, and things like cybersecurity, AI. These are areas that are attractive to people that want to come in and build a career with us. These are areas where we can help on that cost optimization challenge. We can look at how we can make the day-to-day challenges of running a business more efficient, more effective, more productive by introducing new technology and making it more secure and more stable in a world where cyber is a increasingly constant threat, as we see in the news every day. Every day, yeah. Yeah. So gets back to the question. It's a challenging environment that we're working in from an oil and gas perspective. We're looking to change some of the operating models and the ways that we work. Sword is a global business that we are part of. The UK division of Sword is just one part of that. And we have a footprint in 50 odd countries, and we're looking to draw on some of the skills that we can utilize in those locations to deliver more cost-effective, lower unit pricing, if you like, services to our customers, but still combining that with what we think is really important, and that domain knowledge allied to that technical knowledge, allied to the relationships that we build with our customers and the journeys that we are able to go on with them. And so there's always a degree of local presence that's required.
I like the fact that, and this fits so well with E-FWD and the footprint here in the UK, it's kind of bringing that global perspective local, but also taking it into those key markets. So you were saying that you're here in Aberdeen, you're in Glasgow, Teesside, London, but as well Houston, The Hague. I mean, this is all, really important, I think, for enabling companies that probably you're working quite closely with to give them that interesting perspective, that really valuable perspective. So how does Sword work to bring that perspective to your clients here?
So first off, yes, we will go where our customers need us to be. We are in those locations because in the energy industry, there is a need, a demand for us to be local to our customers. Where we are in West London, for example, is very close to BP, that we have always had a good, strong relationship with them. Where we are in Aberdeen is right at the heart of that energy community. And that's why I'm here today, isn't it? I want to be a continuing part of that community and help it evolve. So being close to our customers and being able to bring to them the technology trends and new ways of working that allow them to continue to deliver profitably, hopefully, and we all need here. We're all in it for a reason. I mean, we should never get away from that. But in a challenging environment where we've got to make each of those investments work a little bit harder. M&A is another big trend in oil and gas right now. That cycle of M&A is so much change for companies. Have to manage, for sure. And change brings a degree of technology change, user adoption. So a technology rollout program or refresh program, or just that simply transitioning an asset from one ownership to another, requires a lot of technical thought, but also consideration of the people side of things. How is that going to roll out? And therefore that local presence is really key to making some of those things stick. When people invest in technology or invest in an asset, they're doing it for a reason. There's a return on that investment that's been made, and we want to help them bring that to life.
So we know that your customers in the energy industry, bombarded with pressure, costs, taxes, policies, it all kind of amounts to probably uncertainty, and they're making changes, and we're seeing that happen all the time. There's just so much, whether it's the mergers or job losses, or kind of maybe just looking out to new markets. So what are you seeing your clients? What do they want? How are you giving them what they want? How are you helping them get to where they want to be?
Well, I think that varies across the energy industry. So we could take sectors of that. So we could start with oil and gas. Oil and gas want to do things more cheaply. There's no doubt about it. I think it's a global trend. We're seeing in recent weeks the falling oil price impacts the way that decisions are made on project spend. So how can we help? Well, we can help do the day-to-day more effectively, more efficiently. We're a pragmatic business. We're about just getting stuck in, if you like, and
every little bit helps, as they say.
Every little bit helps. Yeah. But making sense, helping our customers make sensible decisions by using technology to do that. So whether that's in the data space and making sure that it's the right data that's accessible when it's needed, or whether it's in the networking space and making sure that the network is running when it needs to, and that the comms are working, or just purely on the IT infrastructure as down to your laptop. If those things are working properly, then there's every chance that we can make quicker decisions about how we run our businesses. So that's one aspect. Into renewables, the challenge is slightly different. I think the energy transition, and I heard recently, so these aren't my words, but maybe talking about energy addition rather than energy transition.
Additionality. That's a big word coming up. You're right.
Yeah, oil and gas has a part to play in that mix. The skills, we risk losing skills to overseas. I think the market in international sectors is a bit different to it in the UK. Government policy in the UK is driving decision making, and that's leading us to lose some of our energy independence, and the gap is not ready to be filled completely by the renewable sector. But we are helping the renewable sector in things like data strategy, back to that cyber resilience piece. That is so crucial. So there's a lot of transferable skills. We are at the heartbeat of making that happen. So just to recap, that I think our customers, whatever sector they're in, but increasingly in that renewable space, are after the skills that make technology work for them. And we can provide that across data, across the digital platform, including networks and cybersecurity, and into the software development and process automation space. And I think that allows them to be confident about the journey that they're undertaking. The investments that they need to make can be secured by accessing local talent that's our mission to keep a supply of.
Now, cybersecurity, we know, is an increasing issue, and it is associated with global instability. Is it getting scarier out there? Do we need to be a bit more vigilant? I mean, and we don't, of course you're going to say we need to be more vigilant, but there's probably quite verifiable, trends going on out there that companies, particularly offshore or in mission critical industries, really need to take cognizance of. So tell us a little bit about how do we need to kind of gird ourselves?
Well, we do need to be more vigilant, full stop. We need to make sure that we are watertight in our processes. It is going to happen. It happens to us. We are being stress tested internally on a daily basis. And if it's happening to us, then it's happening to others. And people are pretty smart. These hackers are finding ways into businesses, often around transition moments, that they're looking for vulnerable moments in time, and they know who to target, so they've done their homework. And there are always vulnerabilities that we can be smarter about being vigilant across. And we also need to be prepared for what to do when these things happen to us. Yes, we can look to prevent as much as we can, but it's how we bounce back after an event.
Resilience.
It's the resilience piece that I think is the key word. Can we make sure that we can get operations back quickly? We've seen just in the high street how difficult that is if we are not prepared. And we're working with critical national infrastructure, things that literally keep the lights on. So we have to design that resilience into the systems that we're building, and we have to have the skills and the technology combined to manage that resilience on a daily basis. Whether that's an oil and gas platform, whether it's a wind farm, whether it's the distribution network for electricity around the country, it applies equally. And we know the stats from how often these things are being stress tested.
Yeah, sure. And then, kind of vigilance, resilience. Now, SWORD has been, you develop those skills within your organization in order so that you can deliver them to customers. So is the word kind of getting out there? Is the need, is the awareness there that, these things really need to be addressed? Or do they come to you and say, Phil, we really need some help here. We're really in trouble. And you said you should have called me 10 years ago or 10 minutes ago.
We will help people whatever stage of the journey they're at. Whatever. We know that the world's not a perfect place, but there's always something that we can do next. There's always somewhere where we think we can help, or where we know someone that can come in and help. We don't pretend we can do every single skill ourselves, but we've been on a journey to increase the end-to-end capability of inside SWORD over a number of years. A recent addition to our skill set, if you like, is cybersecurity in the OT environment. So that is that offshore environment, that is that wind farm environment that needs to be separated literally by an air gap from the normal network that a business might operate. So that is a real area of skills growth that we are investing in. we were at a high school in Aberdeen yesterday, or my colleagues were, just talking about cyber skills to a bunch of fifth graders.
Okay.
And
what do the fifth graders think about, this need,
Yeah.
for vigilance and resilience?
Yeah,
Are they buying into it? Do they
understand
get
that.
it?
They
Oh,
understand that
interesting.
world.
Yeah, okay.
And those are the people that we want to attract to our
Absolutely.
business.
Yeah.
Give them a couple of years and there'll be people that we want to take on apprenticeship type schemes.
Yeah.
Because I think that is a massive growth area.
I mean, I sometimes wish that I could retrain in coding or that sort of area, but maybe it's not too late for me. But how are you finding, the recruitment and the development, skills always seems to be a pain point for everyone. But how does SWORD address that?
So we're 600 people in the UK. Many of them, approximately 2/3, are working in the energy sector. So we have a pretty comprehensive range of skills, and we've developed skills pathways for particular skill sets within our business, in cyber, in data, etc., that allow us to take people from universities or people from other walks of life straight into our business and upskill them. That's always been very central to who we are. So as you see, skills is something that we are super passionate about. I think there's a real danger that we are losing skills in our industry as there's a lack of investment, and we're potentially seeing the attraction of people moving overseas to pursue their careers. And for us to think about restarting parts of the oil and gas development world, which I think is inevitable. I think it will come, and I think it's very necessary. Do we have the skills base to do that? Well, our job as a technology support business is to make sure that we have that ready for when our customers need it. So looking ahead to what the trends are about the skills that's needed, investing in careers, making sure that SWORD is an attractive place to work is something that's really key to us. We've just moved office in Aberdeen. This is a beautiful environment that we're in here today, and ours is similar. Making that environment, making that place to work a better place, bringing the collaboration between different work streams is really interesting for people. We have a knowledge network happening on a very regular basis. Every couple of weeks we're talking about what we're doing in one project or another. So sharing the excitement, even in challenging times sometimes, sharing the excitement about what we're doing is really key.
Good. Yeah. So when we're thinking about how SWORD is dealing with the industry, clearly you've already mentioned AI. Digitization is increasingly a part of the industry, despite the fact that it increases opportunities and risks. But tell us a little bit about what you see the industry needs to do to adapt itself to the need for digitization and the incoming things associated with AI, particularly.
Yeah, great question. Generative AI is the latest in a long line of digital transformation activities. And it's certainly something that our customers want to talk about. How do we help them get ready to take advantage of the undoubted productivity gains that will be there if it's managed correctly? Our role, we see it, it's not necessarily to develop the solutions, not necessarily bring the use cases to the fore, but actually is to create the foundation on which future AI and other automative development can take place. That's about creating a secure platform. It's about user training. It's about the adoption piece. And it's about having the data in a safe and trusted data set that can be relied upon to make semi-automated or fully automated decisions. And so for us, that's the part that we play. We started work with a number of customers in that space, particularly on that training side, helping large numbers of users adopt to the power of what's on their desktop. We use it internally, of course we do. but we recognize the need for standards and policies that allow us to do that in a safe way.
Mm-hmm. You know what, actually, I think a lot of people forget when we're talking about, the possibilities of, AI and, what it could do for us and, is it going to take my job or not? It actually is about adoption. Like it's so, people just need to go, what, my workers need to be able to even access this, that's so important.
Well, adoption is such a key word when it comes to any new technology, when any change. How are we managing people through the process? How are we making it easy and exciting for that adoption to take place? If we don't do that, then it's just going to be a tool that sits on the desktop and probably is not used to its potential. Yes, there's lots of talk about it's going to take our job, but I think it's going to create opportunity as much as there is risk there. I think the risk is from the security perspective around how are we making sure that we don't share data that we shouldn't be sharing. How are we validating the answers that we get from these tools, and how are we implementing that in a standardized, secure way? Those are the key questions that we should be asking ourselves. I don't think we need to be worried today about our jobs being taken. I think it's a new skill, along with lots of others that we've learned over the years from a technology perspective, that needs to be adopted.
Great. Well, I'm feeling more confident. And are you generally, kind of like in your outlook, you seem to be busy, you're not worried about, the lack of demand for, what SWORD has to offer. So, maybe we'll just end on, maybe think about what you'd like to see, happen, for your customers and for SWORD.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's my job to be positive. I think we will always look for opportunity. That's the nature of our business. We're pretty flexible. We're pretty scalable. We work across a number of different sectors, so we can see what's happening in the wider economy as much as just in our own energy landscape. What we need to happen from an energy perspective is that we need to have a debate, encourage some energy literacy in the conversation. Let's make it clear that electricity is only a part of the energy mix, that we want to consider energy security and energy independence as key things alongside the energy transition. And I think that all of the technologies and all of the different energy sources have a part to play. And I do mean oil and gas. I think oil and gas is with us for a long time, whether we choose to import it, which brings its own higher carbon footprint, or we invest locally. And I'd much rather see that local investment. Although I'm from London, I am in Aberdeen very, very regularly.
You know us so well, don't you, already? Yeah,
I've been up and down to Aberdeen for 25 years. I'm in Glasgow, I'm in Teesside, I'm in our offices in Houston, in Europe. And I can see the excitement in our industry overseas, and I think we've lost a little bit of that in the UK, and I'd like to see some of that positivity come back into the wider discourse. And I think that starts with recognising that oil and gas has a huge part to play. I don't think the energy transition is possible without it. I'm excited about renewables. I'm excited about the things that we want to do, from reducing carbon, and those are really key things for us and for the generation of talent that we want to bring in to our business. But I'm also committed to the industry that we know and love.
Very good. Well, I think this is why you and SWORD make such great partners for E-FWD, because I think we're all involved in this discussion, and then as well bringing positivity back, where it's needed, but then also tackling, those pain points. I think we're all on the same page here. So Phil, thank you ever so much for joining us and coming into the studio today. And we will see you at the next event.
We will do. Yeah, Erica, thank you very much. Wonderful to be here. A pleasure.